We know from Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory that our nervous systems follow a specific sequence when neurocepting. That sequence is Debdena's polyvagal ladder. If we had cortex to limbic brain attunement in our childhood, as we mature, we use more and more our ventral vagal, newest in order, to engage with the world. If that doesn't resolve the threat, we go into sympathetic, fight or flight, and if that doesn't work, the situation is inescapable, our nervous system goes to the oldest part, which is freeze or collapse shutdown, playing possum in the hopes we'll be left alone. If the threat continues, we'll resort to phoning, and if phoning doesn't work, we'll make use of a dash cry for help. When an environment in a society becomes a complex trauma environment, each of our nervous systems gets challenged. In a complex trauma environment, there's little opportunity for finding safety, and thus we might feel overwhelmed, especially if we look at the news many hours a day as we are bombarded with information that gives us a cue of threat. If we doom scroll, if we lose hours of sleep by reacting to comments online from people we disagree with instead of choosing to respond. Even healthy people who had good enough caregivers in their childhood and who were attuned to and had their needs met will find that, in a complex trauma environment, they are pulled towards the unhealthy. It's important to us to do our best in trying to resolve the problem that creates the complex trauma environment in the first place, either by telling the truth, attending to and or organizing protests, creating community events for safety, reaching out to loved ones for co-regulation, while we choose to remain present in the moment by practicing self-care with intention. Self-care doesn't have to be big, although can be, and it can add up over time as we practice every single day. Mindful eating, mindful walking can be forms of self-care. Getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, orienting in nature, calling a friend, engaging in arts, listening to music, caring for a loved one, cooking a nourishing meal, going to therapy, meditating, listening to nourishing stories, etc. When we choose to pour from a full cup, we find meaning and satisfaction. If you find yourself that your window of tolerance, a term coined by Dr. Dan Siegel, is narrow, do what you can within that window of tolerance and put boundaries so as not to be taken out of it. If you are stuck in hyperarousal, fight-flight, or hypoarousal, freeze, or a combination, fawn, then it means professional help such as with a trauma therapist is needed. Collective trauma often looks like the disintegration of communities and of safe havens. What previously worked for us and might have been taken for granted now seems to fail in nourishing us. As more and more people live from a place of fear, so does the quality of human-to-human connection diminishes, especially if we have a history of childhood abuse, neglect, and or abandonment. But it doesn't have to be like that. So it is an opportunity to give birth to something better. We can also find meaning by tuning into our qualities and putting those out into the world by contributing to ourselves, to our loved ones, and to our communities. So as you go day by day, be mindful. Tune into what your body is telling you. If you feel like you need everything to be urgent, take a deep breath. Inhale for 4, hold for 5, and exhale for 6. Repeat a few times. Ground yourself. Feel the earth supporting you.